Hello racers, and welcome to today's video. In today's video we are going to see the fifth video in the Mini-B RTR series, and in this series we're trying to get the best performance we can out of a stock Mini-B with its stock electronics and battery and motor. I'm only going to do 6 videos in this series, so put your suggestions in the comments below on what you'd like to see for the next and final video that we do on this. So we're trying to get some more performance out of this. In video 2 we did the handling and setup video, and we got the handling down pretty good, but with the stock motor we found out that this little stock motor was good out of corners but quite slow on the straightaways. So we had the stock motor, so we did a video where we tried a new or a different motor. It was the Venom Fireball, and unfortunately the Fireball burned up in that test. So here it is here. You can see that the sticker is pretty much melted off of it, and it actually, I gave it a bit of a test afterwards, and it's basically ruined that motor. So the next thing we did was we tried the JR's Choice motor, which is in the little car there now with the stock electronics, and that did give moderate performance increase. It is a little bit faster than the stock. It's a 42 tooth or 42 turn motor, where the stock motor is a 47 turn. So it is a little bit quicker that way. But in this video, once again, we're trying to get some more speed out of it, and we're going to take a look at this Tazer 370 motor. So let's just open the pack here. When I looked up the specs on this motor, it doesn't really say what turn it is. Very general 370 motor. What I noticed about the 370s, and I'll put it beside the stock motor here, is that they are basically the same size. They have the same 2mm shaft, so you can put the same pinions on them. I do notice one distinct feature, that the end bell on the 280 motors are plastic, and on the 370 motor it is metal. One disappointing thing that I noticed when I ordered, after I looked at it in the bag, was that the spec motor here has about 14 millimeters for the motor screws, and the 380 is about 16 or 17. So you need a little bit more space in your motor mount for it. Now luckily, in a previous video I got the sliding motor mount. You can see there that in the slide there is still some space. So what my plan is I'm going to put the motor in a little bit cocked, a little bit at a diagonal to fit in the motor mount, and then slide it as far forward as I can to fit it into the car. So now that I've opened the motor, what I'd like to do is a little motor test here. I got my little motor setup test station, and I have this little laser RPM gauge, and what I made is a little wheel, and you can see that it has a little shiny piece of aluminum on it, aluminum tape, and as the motor spins, the laser will see the tape and it will count how many times it goes by in a minute and give you the RPM. So what I want to do is give you the RPM of the stock motor and the RPM of the 370 motor, so that we can see a difference there. Okay, so we'll just connect this up. This is the stock 280. I have this little power supply here, and I'll just see how this works out. See how it works out here. I'm going to start it off at 4 volt. Okay, and hopefully we can read this. I'm going to click test. And we can see that it is about 12,000 RPM at 4 volt. Let me get it in line here. 12.7 at 4 volt. Let's just turn this down. Let me turn it off. So now let's do the same test with this Dynamite 370 motor. I expect it to be a little bit more powerful. So this is my little test harness, a little bit of a foam wheel I made. Have a look at the Dynamite 280. So the 280 and 370 motors have the same size, same 2mm output shaft, so you can interchange them. I'm gonna just hook this up here. This is the first time I've tried this, so anything might happen. Now what I should do is put a little bit of oil on the motor, on the bushing at the top. Probably it's not well oiled in the bag there. Put some oil on the bushing at the bottom. Try to cover these up so it doesn't short out. Okay, so now let's try. It's now turned on. Let it break in a bit. Let's step up the volts. We're up to 2 volt. 3 volt. We can quite hear the RPM is quite a bit higher. 4 volt. Now these do run at, let's see if I can get the test so you can see the RPM gauge here. So at 4 volt, this is spinning at about 18,000 RPM, and it's doing a little bit more as it breaks in. So at about 18,000 RPM versus approximately 12,000. So this little 380 motor is quite a bit more, a lot more RPM to it. Let's just do another little test, see if it has increased while we're talking. Nope, still at 18,000 RPM. So, as we can see, there's a bit more RPM in the 370. What I'm going to do next is I'll just let this motor break in a little bit longer, and then I'll install it into the car, putting as small a pinion as I can put on it, and then we'll check back in. Okay, so we'll see you in a few minutes. And we're back from a successful race day. The results in the end, we're promising, but we're a little mixed. Just to think about what the goal of this whole series was to go as fast as possible with a stock RTR Mini-B, and basically for as low as cost as possible, try to keep up with the brushless and other competitors. So that was the goal. In today's race, what I was able to do is, in a field of 10 racers, I was able to qualify 4th, and in the end I finished 4th. The other 4 cars in my final were all brushless systems between 5,000 and about 7,800 kV brushless motors in them. And this was keeping right up with it, but I kind of feel that it's getting near the end of the performance I can get with different brush motors. So let's think of the performance that I got with the 370 motor. In the race video that follows this, you'll see it's much better out of corners, in that it's very on par with the brushless competitors. Nearly on par. They still got a little bit of an edge, but it's very, very close now compared to other videos. So progress is good. But what I found is it's still slow on the straight. And the poor little motor heated between about 160 and 180 degrees to keep up. There's no fan in the car, so that's for the next video. We'll be putting a fan in to cool things down. So I think we're starting to get to the limit of the stock speed control and electronics, but I'm still going to keep with the brushed, and I still have more tricks up my sleeve. So in the last video in the series, we're going to try those final tricks. So one thing that happened in that race was that it began to fight with traction rolls, and I did two things to cure that. One thing I did was lower the ride height to probably 9 or 10 millimeters. Is quite low. The second thing I did, and this is a tip that you guys can take, is between the hex and the wheel, I put a 1 millimeter shim in there to widen the front track width. Whenever you're getting into a traction roll situation, if you widen the front, that'll calm the front down. And the other thing I did was I put a little bit of a what an oval racer would call wedge into the car, where I tightened the shock that was doing the traction rolling, because my traction rolling was because the spring was collapsing, I felt, so I gave it a bit more in there. Also in the race, I switched from the 6500 or 650 milliampere hour battery to a 1100 milliampere hour battery. I didn't want to get the 800, but they've been out of stock, so I ended up getting one of these little guys. I'll put a link to the description below for that. They're only a $12 little battery, and they worked great. Now, to get the Tazer 380 or 370 motor into the car, I took the wheel off and the motor cover off so you could see. Hopefully you can see in the camera. One thing I found before I show you that is a stock 280 motor has 14 millimeters between its screws, and they're 2 millimeter screws. The 370 I put in has 17 millimeters between the screws, and they're 3 millimeter screws, so the screws are bigger. So what I had to do was just slightly file out the motor mount. And in hindsight, I probably could have got a different motor mount. There's one for larger motors, and I'll put a link to that below as well. I think they call it the big bore motor plate, and it's made for 3 millimeter screws, and these slots are further apart. And you can also see that I am using only one motor mount screw, because I found that even with the making the slots bigger, I couldn't put a screw in the bottom one there. My gearing was stock spur, and I went with a little 15 tooth pinion. And when I did the calculations, it was going to be faster than the JR's Choice. But I couldn't gear it up any higher because it was fighting temperatures. So in the next video, I'm going to replace the stock speed control. I'm still going to keep it brushed. Still going to try to fight for low-cost brush system to keep up with the brushless. So with that, we're going to go to the race video. If you like this type of thing, click like. If you have some comments on what type of tuning I could do to the car to make it handle a bit better, put them in the comments below, and subscribe if you want to see the next video in the series. Thank you very much, and you can check out the race right here. Yeah, it's funny. All right. Yep.
First. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Kyle in first place, followed by Mark in second place, followed by Gordo in third place, followed by Greg in fourth place, followed by Rob in fifth place. First. Second. Third. Fourth. 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 First. After 3 minutes, the top drivers are Kyle in first place, followed by Mark in second place, followed by Gordo in third place, followed by Greg in fourth place, followed by Rob in fifth place. Second. Third. Fourth. First. Second. Third. First. Fourth. Second. Third. First. Fourth. Second. Third. First. Second. Third. Fourth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. 2 minutes left. First. Second. Third. Fourth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. First. Second. Third. After 4 minutes 30 seconds, the top drivers are Kyle in first place, followed by Mark in second place, followed by Gordo in third place, followed by Greg in fourth place, followed by Rob in fifth place. Fourth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. First. Second. Third. Fourth. First. Second. Third. 1 minute left. First. Fourth. Second. Third. First, second, fourth, third. First, second, fourth, third. First, second, fourth, third. 10, 9, 8. First, 7, second, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First mark done with a 36 lap 601.1 result. Second pile done with a 36 lap 602.9 result. Fourth break done with a 34 lap 604.3 result. Third Bordeaux done with a 36 lap 607 flat result. All drivers are finished. The race is completed.